afternoon, guys. I hope you're having a fantastic day with whatever you're doing. Today I wanted to show you how simple and easy it is to make butter chicken in your Thermomix. Now, don't let this title of this recipe put you off making it. It is only kid friendly because it comes from a book that's particularly made for kids. But this butter chicken is like one that you would buy from the local takeaway shop. It is flavoursome, it is amazing, and you can make the heat of it to what you want. As well as that, you know exactly what's in it. There's no nasty ingredients, no additives, no numbers, things like that. So let's get started straight away so I can show you the 4 steps it takes to make this in your Thermomix at home. So first things first is it's asking for some garlic cloves. So I've just peeled my garlic. I'm going to put that straight in. In it goes. Next up, some turmeric peel. Now, normally I would chuck my turmeric in skin and all, but my turmeric is very dry. We pulled it up about this time last year and it's been sitting in a drawer and it's very wilted and dry. So I've peeled it today. But normally, just like my ginger, I would normally leave the skin on. Okay? It's not going to hurt anything. Promise. Taste, you won't even know. 1 brown onion cut into quarters. Well, mine's half today. That's just how it's going to go. It's actually quite a big half, that second half. And now we're going to, a chili. Not putting chili in. My kids are not hot, spicy fans. And there's going to be cumin, coriander, cardamom, and that sort of stuff, which will give it some nice warmth anyway. So we'll just leave that out for my house. But by all means, if you guys like chili, put your red chili in. Okay, on with the lid. Speed 7. How easy and quick is that? Like, it just doesn't get quicker. This doesn't get old with the Thermomix. I love how quick that is. Now, I'm just going to quickly give you a quick show because I don't want to get onionized today. So let me just show you. See how chopped that is? How cool is that? All right, next ingredient asked for is, it says scrape down the sides. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to put my eyes in there and get onionized. Butter. I'm using oil because I'm keeping it dairy-free because one of my guys is way better off when he is dairy-free. All right, now we go our spices. This is my favorite part. This is what gives it really good flavor, and you can be generous with this, okay? So 1 teaspoon of cumin, and see how I'm just chucking in that. No measuring spoons. Don't be that precise. It will be amazing. Ground cardamom, 1 teaspoon. In it goes. Okay, next up, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. And take my advice, don't take the lid off, otherwise you'll end up crying everywhere with this. I can feel it coming out at me now. 2 teaspoons of sweet paprika. If you don't have sweet, use your ground. That is fine as well. 2 teaspoons of garam masala. This is something that you want to mill yourself in your Thermomix. There's 2 recipes to choose from in your Cookidoo, so check that out and build down your own. It's beautiful. 2 teaspoons of ground coriander. Now, I am not a coriander lover. I am a coriander hater, okay? Coriander seeds are different to coriander, the green stuff. Please, if you don't like coriander greens, I guarantee you this stuff is different. Give the coriander seeds a go. And that's what they're asking for in ground coriander is the seeds. Okay, on with the measuring cup. We've got that in there already. And now it's going to cook this off beautifully for 4 minutes, 100 degrees, reverse. Okay, so we're just going to let it do its thing. This is your time in a recipe to actually grab your next sets of ingredients out so you're ready. So in this case, let's open up the full view. Now, if you're on a TM5, and I'm sorry you guys can't see that, but let me tell you what's on there. Recipe details is at the top, then it's scales, and then it says cancel recipe. If you're on a TM5, your little arrow is in the bottom left corner and it will pull up your full view there as well. Have a look at that, okay? Now, here it brings me back to the beginning and I can go continue, which will go back to the step I'm up to, but I want to use the arrow in the middle of the screen to scroll down. From here, I can see that next I'm going to need some cherry tomatoes. I'm going to need tomato paste, chicken, and lime juice. Now, I'm today using big tomatoes. We've got tomatoes growing out the back, and they are very plentiful at the moment. This is actually the first time for my family I've ever used real tomatoes. Normally, when I make this for my family, I just use tin tomatoes. You know the 400-gram tin? Just put in 150 grams of the diced tomatoes out of that, and it will be amazing. It's just that we're growing some at the moment, so they need eating. They're very plentiful, and we're not even keeping up with them. So I'm going to actually show you guys over the next few days how to make passata from fresh tomatoes. So that's going to go in, and you can see I've just cut out the bad bits, and that's the leftovers. So some of them are overripe. Then it's got some tomato paste. Again, you actually might get to see me make tomato paste in the next few days because I have so many tomatoes. I will probably cook some of that down and make my own tomato paste because it's just a concentrate then. So tomato paste will go in. Then the chicken. So now would be a really good time to dice up your chicken thigh. Now, a little tip here. I know some people prefer breast. Recipes that have the meat in it usually will call for thigh because it stops your meat from shredding. The thigh has fat in it and it won't shred. Your chicken breast, the moment it gets to cooked, it will start pulling and you will end up with pulled chicken, but pulled chicken rather than beautiful chunks of chicken. So that's the difference, and that's why. If you are going to use breast, I would highly suggest you make big chunks of chicken. So say your breast into 4 big chunks, not little tiny things. There'll be nothing left. It will just pull. The moment it gets to cooked at about, if they're little bits, about 5 minutes, it'll just start pulling and you'll end up with this shredded mess. It won't be authentic. So my biggest plea is give this a go with your thigh. See what you think. Even if you don't like thigh, give it a go, and then maybe give it a go with the breast, and you'll see what I mean. It is different. The texture is different. The feel, the authenticness is different if you use breast. So do follow your instructions. Breast is best if you steam it, not put it in a contents. Otherwise, it just mushes it up, even with the blade protector. Okay, the little blade thing that's come out that which should be available soon to purchase. That still won't stop it because any movement in that bowl, as soon as it hits cooked, will just cause it to come apart. So there's a little tip for you guys. And then what else do we need? It says some spinach. I don't put spinach in my butter chicken. I think that's the way that they put it in the kid book to make it more nutritious, is to add spinach. I don't worry, just leave it out. So the other thing I add sometimes is halloumi. It is phenomenal with halloumi. Make your own halloumi in your Thermomix. In it goes. It's absolutely amazing. Then we've got some salt, and then we've got some cream. I'm actually using coconut cream in mine. I can't remember if it actually calls for pouring cream, but being that we're trying to keep it dairy free, we're going to use coconut cream, and that's just the very last step where it stirs through. So all right, 16 seconds to go. How time flies when you're doing these live videos. And how it will fly in your kitchen, because you would have taken that time then to grab out your tomato paste, grab your cherry tomatoes or your tin of tomatoes. If you're doing cherry tomatoes, just chop them in half and grab out your chicken, dice it up. So you would have used that 4 minutes really effectively. Here's our cool down. All right, next, cherry tomatoes, cut in half. I don't know how much I've got here. I'll just see what this, significantly more. Oh well, it'll do. I do need to use them. So I guess you could use nearly a whole tin. I'll let you know how it turns out. Okay, tomato paste, 100 grams. In that goes. Don't skimp on your tomato paste. It really does add a flavour enhancement to it because it has that depth of flavour that the tomatoes don't yet have. Chicken thighs. Just grab these off the chopping board here. I don't think I've even got a kilo today. I've just got the leftover packet. So in it goes, and you'll see they're big chunks. Please don't feel like you have to dice it small, okay? Big chunks are often better. It does give you that time before it starts pulling in the Thermomix. So I would highly suggest big chunks are better. See, I've only got 600 grams. Close enough's good enough, and that's not even close, but it'll be fine. Lime juice, so I'm using my vinegar instead. You guys know I'm getting quite slack at squeezing my limes, even though I do have them. And just being Jamie Oliver, okay? No tablespoon measurements, please. Just guess. It honestly won't make a difference. Okay, on with my lid. It's got 17 minutes, 100 degrees reverse speed 1. If you are cooking on a TM5 or a TM31 and you don't have guided cooking, please use your reverse button or it's going to just shred your chicken, okay? I'm going to come back in 17 minutes and show you the very last step before I give you some hints and tips to put this in a thermoserver and keep it nice and warm for a couple of hours, because we're about to head out to our swimming lessons for the afternoon and we're not back in for 2 hours. So I'm going to put this in a thermoserver. I'm going to show you how to make it to stay piping hot so that when I come home in 2 hours we can eat this ready to go. So I'll see you soon. Okay guys, it's been cooking now for 17 minutes and it's just about to stop and do the cool down. Now while it's been cooking, I've put away everything in my kitchen, which is one of the biggest perks to having a Thermomix, is you get this hands-free cooking time to put everything away, so everything's now spotless. I've also taken the time to preheat my thermoserver, so I'll tell you more about that next. Let's just continue on. spinach. I said I was going to miss that, right? I don't feel like that's very authentic, but maybe it is. I don't know. So we miss that. Sometimes we put in halloumi. Sometimes I'll put in some broccoli or some veggies at this step as well, but I'm just going to leave it as it is for the moment. Stir with a spatula, skip that altogether. Leave to stand for 2 to 3 minutes just to let those spinach leaves wilt. That's the intent behind that step. Let's go next. You can see how full that is, how much, or well, you guys can't at the moment. Hang on a second. Once the steam disappears, that's a quite amount, and it would actually probably be up close to 2 litres had I got 1 kilo of the beautiful chicken in there, but I didn't quite have enough. I had about 650, so I was a bit short. All right, some salt. Please don't skimp your salt. It won't taste right if you do not put the salt in. So please put your salt in. I'm putting about 1.5 teaspoons in. Definitely need it in there. You could put veggie stock, but again, I'm keeping with being a bit authentic. If you're going to put veggie stock in, you could put a tablespoon in. Okay, somewhere just not a heaped tablespoon. Okay, just a tablespoon. All right, some pouring cream. As mentioned earlier, I'm going to make this dairy-free, and I'm adding some beautiful coconut cream into it, which has solidified considerably. Let's see if I can grab this out. Yeah, it's making a big mess. You can see there's a bit of liquid there to start off with. Just trying to get the cream out of the bottom of the tin. Should have had a go at this before we turn the camera back on, but anyway, I'm actually going overweight on this. That's okay though. My kids won't mind, but I also have the extra tomato in there, and I'm fairly generous with those spices. The other tip I'd say is if you have family members who don't like it with that spiciness to it, have your leftover coconut cream available on the table, or your thickened cream in the case of normal, dairy stuff, and then they can dull it down with that. Okay, that would be my other tip. Fresh coriander, yuck, I'm not putting it in, but by all means put it on yours if you like it. On with the lid, and this is the very last step. So 30 seconds, speed 1, reverse. Don't muck it up and forget to put reverse if you're not on a guided recipe. Now let me talk to you about thermoservice. Now I have down here a 2.2 litre thermoserver. It's my original from when I first got my TM31 6.5 years ago. It's one of my favourites. I mean, I do have lots of favourites, but I like this one because it's just a little bit shorter than the others. So I have a bit of a thing for smaller ones. The big ones I find really deep. Great for soups, 2 litres worth of soups, but I just like the fact that this is a bit squattier. You've heard me talk before about my ovals and stuff like that are even shorter again. So what I've done while I have that cook time is I've put boiling water in the bottom, only about a centimetre. And what that's done is it's taken the chill out of my thermoserver, but it's also brought up the heat inside. So when I put my boiling hot 85 degree temperature food in there, it's going to stay hot as opposed to all of a sudden dropping down to say 75 degrees because it has to heat the stainless as well. So let's take the lid off. You can see it's piping hot. I'm just going to tip that aside very carefully. You guys could tip it into your sink. And now straight away we want to put our food out of our Thermomix while it's piping hot and it's still actually steaming at me. Can you guys see that? We want to put this Thermomix food straight into it. Now pour it onto your spatula to stop the splatter. Sorry, you guys won't be able to see this. And I'll lift it up to show you guys. So I'm just going to grab that extra food out because I don't want to spend too long with the lid off because otherwise it will lose its heat too much. So let's just put that back in. Now something to be mindful of in this recipe is you've got turmeric in it. Now turmeric is renowned for staining things. If it stains, put it out in the sun, your lid, and it will come good. Otherwise, there you go guys, look how full that is. Look how beautiful. I don't know if you guys will be able to see actually. This camera will be better. You guys see that? Yum. With the turmeric, the turmeric stain's a sign of a well-loved Thermomix. Okay, that's my deal with the turmeric. It means you love and use your Thermomix. Don't get too precious about it. Particularly just the fluoro yellow that will disappear over time from that turmeric. So there's a little tip for that. You can try and oil your lid and things to stop the staining, but sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It really depends on the oil and what you're making and how long it's in there for. So don't get too hung up on your turmeric stains through the dishwasher with your lid or out in the sun. It'll come clean in its own time, and don't worry about that. All right, guys. Well, I hope I've empowered you with how we can easily and quickly make butter chicken in your Thermomix. Please give this recipe a go. It is so simple, 4 steps, and so much spare time between it, which is what I love as a mum of 4 boys who are normally very hungry very quickly. To be able to just sit and forget and walk away is such a great tool to have. So if I can help you with your Thermomix, by all means reach out. If you've got questions about the recipe, if you want to talk about hints and tips, if you have it doing a recipe and you're thinking, oh, how does this work, give me a call. That's what I'm here for. If you want information about getting a Thermomix, I'm also here to support you in that as well, and then help you get the very most out of your Thermomix investment. That's what I really love, and that's what I'm passionate about. So I hope you'll make this recipe. When you do, put a little comment below so I know you've found value in the videos that I'm doing as well. By the way, there's some tips here about finishing with some chopped coriander and some yogurt and lime wedges. So by all means, you can do that too. But I'm not a fancy cook in my house. It's just how quickly can I get to the table. So this is now ready for when the kids and I come back from swimming in a couple of hours. In 2 hours time, this will still be piping hot, ready to go, because I've preheated my thermoserver. So I hope you've learned some tips about thermoservers as well. If you want some of them, get in touch with me or your consultant, because you can get one of those discounted for hosting a demo. So love demoing, love sharing my knowledge with you about how a Thermomix can change your life. So please reach out, but otherwise have a fantastic Monday, guys, and I will see you sometime soon, tomorrow morning at 10:30 when I go live again. Bye for now.